Good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting for August 1st, 2023. I'd like to call this meeting to order and roll call, please.
Tuesday, Moss present.
Boucher present.
Chessex and Duranian present. And may we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank all those in service, past and present, and those in our first responders. Thank you, Joe. 1.3, the meeting is being recorded and we're going to upload this later to YouTube. Chairman's additions and deletions. I do not have anything. Do you have anything, Teresa?
No, I do not.
No? Joe? Okay. We'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 6/28/23.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I didn't see them.
Okay. I didn't see anything either. Okay. All those in favor?
Tuesday, Moss, yep.
Boucher, yes.
Chessex and Duranian. Those are approved. Let's see. So we have 2.1 is a joint meeting with the planning board to appoint a new member there. Is the chair? Yes, I see the chair for the planning board. Ma'am, would you like to open up your meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I'm Laura Schifrin, and I am calling the meeting or joint meeting together of the planning board on August 1st at 6:05 p.m. I'd like a roll call vote, please. I believe there's some members in.
Yes.
Is anyone there? Yeah, Andrew's there, and is Robert there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so then we have a majority of our board here. And we are here to present to you a vote that we took at our last meeting on April, well, we have at our last meeting last week to appoint Tony Lopez as a member of the planning board for a term until annual election, April 22nd of 2024. Do we have to re-vote here as the majority? Eric?
Yes. The planning board does need to vote here, yes.
Okay. So I guess I'll entertain a motion from either Robert or Andrew to appoint Tony Lopez to fill the vacant seat. There's a first and there's a second. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Green, yes.
Andrew Shepherd, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes.
Okay, then I would like to entertain a motion to appoint Tony Lopez as a member of the planning board for a term until annual election, April 22nd, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion for the board? All those in favor?
Tuesday, Moss, yep.
Boucher, yes.
Chessex and Duranian, yes.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Andrew and Robert, for appearing in person. I appreciate your attendance.
Thanks, Lori.
And we will adjourn the meeting now. Can I have a first and a second, a motion and a second to adjourn our meeting?
I vote we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. I'll take a roll call vote.
Robert Therian.
Andrew Shepherd, aye.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you very much.
All righty, thank you, Lori. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, Tony. And it looks like we have Rebecca. You do. Okay, so I would like to move 5.0 up to right now. And Rebecca, you want to grab a seat over here? Yeah.
So I think this is your first time officially before the board.
Yes.
So this is Becky Morris. Becky is our community services organizer. She has been in the job for 4 months, 3 months at this point in time.
Okay.
And so the document that I think you folks have is the information that I looked for FY24.
Yeah, so I did moving.
So you would like to know what the funds that I'm managing, so right now the library is approved for $10,000 for fiscal year 2024. They would like, so that's for training. The only project that they would like is an additional possibly $5,000 because they would like Wi-Fi extenders, 2 or 3 Wi-Fi extenders.
So this is for the library, or
This
is
is for the library, and they have allotted to them for training for fiscal year 2024. So what I had was that it was for training. So I wasn't here when that was approved.
The library was doing training. They were doing
It looks like on
conferences and
3/27/2023, they were approved to have professional network memberships, conferences, and then training.
that was
Yeah, that's
for 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tonight, they want.
They were just, so because I'm so new, we were kind of just discussing that was something like that they were interested in having Wi-Fi extenders placed behind the children's reading area, and then one for the parking lot, one in the parking lot.
I think that's something we can discuss.
They would, yeah, I would like a formal proposal from them, exactly what they are looking for that. Well, I don't even want to entertain that until we find out exactly what they're looking for, and see, because we did have a lot of work on their equipment earlier. There's some equipment work that I want to get for that I haven't brought up to the board yet for the Council on Aging as well. There's some rewiring that we have to do there. There is some Wi-Fi improvements that we need to do, and also for there's some equipment updates that we need to do for their meeting rooms as well. So if we can address all of that at the same time, if you can ask the library, Stacy, just ask her to put it together, and then maybe we can all sit down and talk about it at a future date.
I could sit down and talk about it. It should be a larger kind of scope than just
Yeah.
a couple of things for the library.
Yeah, because if we're doing the work for the Council on Aging, then we can just kind of fit that all in together. So yeah, we'll definitely entertain that.
And then the Council on Aging, I believe they have $8,255 in the ARPA Wellness Fund, and that's for training, and also YMCA memberships. And they have a Grand Families Leadership Certification Program, and then a Triad program, so materials and supplies.
Okay.
And then they also have $128,400 in the ARPA 16 funds, which are for meals, and they are looking to possibly hire a chef. So that's what has been discussed with me.
This is part of a reorganization plan. It's likely to be presented to the board as part of the current. It was already given the resignation date. They're going to do some reorganization. It shouldn't have a financial impact on the general fund budget, but just moving some priorities around.
But if we're hiring now a chef, that's going to be, ARPA funds are going to run out.
that is going to be included in that 128,
Yeah.
and then I think they're going to look for grants. So I probably maybe I'm over speaking, so I apologize.
No, that's all right. It's,
This is they have a long-term plan and funding for part of that position for part of the kitchen manager position is included in that money.
Right.
And they have a plan to kind of separate out the kitchen manager and make it part-time. It's something that will be presented to the board as a more.
yeah, it's a larger.
It's not just it's not a one-off. They came with the one-off and I said, no, you're going to give us the whole plan.
And then, so the other department is the recreation department, and they're approved for $30,000 per year, and they use that. So right now, next week I'm meeting with Emmy. I don't have a date scheduled yet, but we're meeting. It's kind of a busy time right now. So she has programs, $3,000, $800 that she just uses that money. So that's what we're discussing, and possibly like whatever's left over, she might do some programming in the fall. But within the budget, within the $30,000, that's allotted to her for fiscal year 2024. That there are no requests for changes. And then the other program is the NM Cares. So it looks like they have approximately $20,000 for the fiscal year 2024 budget. So it looks like they had a balance of $12,898 that was rolled over. That should be rolled over for 2023. And they're, they do have a recovery coach and a domestic violence advocate who they've hired. And then the other money is going towards harm reduction materials and community speakers.
Okay. I worked very closely with North Middlesex Cares. Part of the reason why I wanted to meet you is that I'm pretty active in that particular field, and I want to be able to support them as much as possible because this is their. It's nice to be able to know that they have the facility that's over there. So if you need any help from me personally, you definitely let me know.
Okay. Thank you. And I did talk to somebody who runs a similar program in Leominster. So he gave me a list of different grants that they can apply for. So I have been working with that.
One of the things I think we're hopeful is our goal of NM Cares is to figure out a way during this ARPA period to help them become more self-funded. So that by the time ARPA money runs out, they'll have a grant cycle that they're on.
There's a couple that I will meet with you offline in regards about, and there's a couple that need to be applied for now that aren't going to be necessarily figured out until like February or March. But to get the name in and to get the grant written and done now is kind of the way they roll. So I can definitely help you out with that. Good. And you comfortable settling in and all that?
Yeah, I'm settling in. I'm sorry I'm a little awkward tonight. I'm settling in. I like, it's a good position. And I'm getting to know everyone, and I'm just getting into the group. But
Becky comes from a background in elder services.
I work in elder protective services, and I also have, I also was a clinician in and I was, not mainly at risk, but Amsterdam.
My neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's definitely on Jackson's side of the street.
Exactly. Well, some people call it the wrong side of the track. We won't go there. This was something that when we first started allocating the ARPA funds, your position and everything that you're doing is something that we felt that the town needed, and it was it's a necessary service. And the more we get into it, the more we're finding out that this is definitely the right decision for us to be able to do that. And the amount of feedback I'm getting from the community about what you are doing with the library, what the Council on Aging is doing, it's very, very important work. And I just want you to know that we support you 100% on that. I'm very, very happy that we're in where we're at right now.
And we started early.
Yes, yes, we did. Yes, we did. I work in Worcester, and Worcester hasn't even allocated all of their funds yet. So we've allocated our funds and we're paying out on doing what we're supposed to do, so.
And that's much more than norm.
Yeah.
Than the exception. Most towns are still doing that. So
We spent a lot.
we're almost
Yeah,
there.
you're part of a good team.
We're almost done. They're still figuring out how to do it.
We spent a lot of hard hours at that.
Yeah, I didn't know it's a big deal. I do think the impact on the community is much quicker,
Mhm.
and that's what it was intended for, right? It's to impact the community as quickly as possible after COVID to try.
And we wanted to do the biggest bang for the buck in the beginning and then now we have all this time to find sustainable funds to be able to keep it going. That's our goal right now. So we've got a couple of years to be able to do that. So that's something that we're gonna need your help on too as we move forward is to be able to see what we can do to keep things sustainable so that we have the future. But do you have any questions for us or comments?
No, not right now. I guess, did I present things like appropriately tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I did.
Come in and ask, and all we can say is no.
We had your predecessor, I guess is the right word. She was always coming in and keeping us informed about what's going on, and that's all we're looking for. This is transparency. You're reporting to the board, but when you report to us, you're also reporting to the public, so they know that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I appreciate your time. I thought you were just going to send us a letter, but I'm happy to see you.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
All right, thank you.
Great job.
Thanks, Vicky.
Well, since we're in that, do we need to talk anything else about the ARPA? I know that we did get an updated. It looks like we're doing well.
Yeah, and then so there are a couple of things that are still in the pipeline, but
Greenville Road, we just discussed, so that's gonna come down, right?
yes, that bridge that's scheduled for construction. That's going to be that line's going to be depleted in FY 24. I mean, that's an important thing to note because that is likely to push us closer to the number that requires the extra audit at the end of the year, the special audit for if you spend more than $750,000.
Right, so we're going to have to find money for that audit.
So that's just one of those things. If you spend $750,000 of federal funds, you have to have a special audit at the end of the year. And I think the cost is $3,500 in the effective auditing firm. So we're going to keep track of the ARPA expenditures this year, and we try not to go over. Well, like I said, with the Greenville Bridge project, it's going to be tight to try and do it. I think it's not going to be insurmountable, but it's going to be tight. I think we'll probably around 600 that I can comfortably say we're definitely going to spend as long as the Greenville Bridge goes, but it's that other 150 for the project. So,
Good. You guys have anything else? Do you have to find it? Good, and it was nice to meet you. Haven't met her yet.
yeah, one thing I like about that experience is given us now the aging population we have in towns and rise that we projected to see in our senior population in town for the next 10 years or so, having familiarity background in elder services, sitting at the Council on Aging provides us those extra resources to the senior center. I just thought your experience.
They're 100% agree. There are. I knew that when you first brought it up to us that you had confidence that that was the right person for the right. All right. So that was 5.0. So we'll go back up to 3.1, appointment of election officials. So I will look for a motion to appoint the election officials effective August 14th, 2023 for a term to expire August 14th, 2024 in the listing that was provided to everybody.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. Any questions on that?
I'm good.
We just attach this to our minutes when we put it in, and that should be fine. Yep. So all those in favor?
Joseph Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Four point one, request for approval. I'll ask for a motion to request for approval of, actually, there's two, at least I saw. I wanted to talk to you first before we did it. I think a motion to approve the function and then a motion to close the road separate.
Yes, I think that would, although, well, the road closures that the board voted last year, the road closures didn't have to be voted on by the board. It's something that I've been authorized to do, but I think if the board wants to take it at the same time.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the 19th Annual Gregory Reeves Memorial Road Race on October 7th, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the town common. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? And Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. And I'll also entertain a motion to approve the street closure of Brookline Street on October 7th, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. to accommodate the 19th Annual Gregory Reeves Memorial Road Race.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. About that.
That's your rush.
5.1, Town Administrator Updates and Reports.
Sure, so, I was requested to discuss 97 Main Street. So I have requests for quotes out to 3 separate auction companies. I'm anticipating hearing back from them any day now. They said they were all 3 said they would put together quotes and bring it back to me. There's not really any local auction companies, but I did get a list from Adam Costa of companies that he's worked with in the past or his clients worked with in the past and had solid experience with. All of them consistently say what I think anybody who's familiar with an auction understands, which is there's not going to be a cost to the town. There's going to be a buyer's premium on the bid. So we won't actually be having to write a check to the auctioneer that will come out of the bid. Like that. Yeah, so the bidder's going to have to pay the auctioneer. With that. 2 of the companies actually said it's very different in this day and age, post-COVID auctioneering day and age. They do a lot of online outreach before the auctions, do a lot of trying to drum up business to get more people interested. There's a large online presence for our property. They're going to do in the weeks leading up to the bid. So I'm hopeful that will enable us to get our best dollar for the building.
What do we anticipate roughly when?
Early September.
Okay. That's
And so there will likely be, hopefully we'll get the bids, even if I get I'll check on vacation as well. So on the 22nd, there'll be a kind of a vote to accept the bid from the proposal. One of the one of the entities after we evaluate it, and then they'll do their marketing outreach and set a date and
Come home, label it exactly what the property
Yeah.
is. What will be on.
yeah, they're all aware of the 2028. I've directed them to Mass DEP website, but those property and the information that us knows. So that's going to be kind of fully out there for everybody. None of that work was done by the town, so we don't retain any for other work that DEP does. So I'm hopeful that we'll get something back in the next couple of days. I spoke to one of them this morning. Just talking to ask questions, much information. So that'll be good. And the other update would be just a reminder that I am on vacation starting Friday for 2 weeks. Sabrina has my cell phone number, as do everybody at this table.
Last time I told you I wouldn't bother you, I didn't bother you, if I'd have known you were home.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be different.
It was only a weekend, Joe. The last 2 weeks, that's the question. No,
I'd like to know that.
yeah.
I don't know, we'll see.
Sabrina and I have over the last year developed a pretty good system for handling things that need my evaluation, which is, she scans things and she emails me at least once per day, usually in the afternoon. I check to see if she's scanned any documents that I can review and authorize. She has my signature stamps that authorize me to sign things. So the workflow that requires my signature should be kind of unstopped. And I don't anticipate that anything, momentous is going to come in, but if it does,
Well, I'd like to just say, in my short time I've been back, it's been a pleasure working with you. The office runs very smooth and it's very dependable.
Well, thank you. That's the goal. And so I will have my laptop, and so if we need to do some heavy lifting, we'll do it. I'll be able to do it. But hopefully, Sabrina's very good about keeping me in the loop and getting things.
She keeps me in the loop too, so I know very well that
He's
she's
good.
right on top of it.
Keeps all of us in the loop.
So there shouldn't be any kind of need for any kind of extra, the board shouldn't have the extra burden like someone doing. The signatures will flow without kind of thing we'll keep things moving. And hopefully we'll make sure that we get everything's set up for the agenda followers, which is going to be a little tricky.
So we can take care of that. And you can punch when you get it.
I don't know anything about this agenda.
Release all responsibility.
She did it.
So actually, we did it.
Yeah.
So we'll do it. If we could add to that as well, the feedback for that I had written over the weekend with comments, if we can add that in this piece, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Did you guys have? I know I had some feedback from Teresa, which we're going to incorporate in.
Thanks.
On the adopted open space.
Yes.
I did read it. I knew, and I thought it was well put together.
Okay. So no real changes.
So I don't have any.
Okay. So Sabrina, I'll make those changes that we talked about, and then I'll send it back. You can post it over to them.
Oh, I apologize. I did have one more thing.
Yeah, sure.
So as we talked about last week, we're trying to find a building professional.
Oh yes, this is
Yeah, so we had an interview with a very, highly qualified candidate today. I don't want to reveal his identity but very highly qualified. I think he'd be a great asset for the town. I would just like to get permission from the Board of Selectmen to negotiate with the supervisors union to see if there's some movement we can have in the starting salary. We have flexibility in the budget because we don't have by the time a person gets here, we'll be 2 months into the year. So we have some flexibility. Money is an issue, and it's been an issue, I think, as the board has for a while. So I would like to see if there's a way we can talk to the union about that along with some flexibility.
and that's I think on the future of things that we need to talk about is trying to be a little more competitive with our salaries here, along with looking into the retirement funding that we were talking about. I think I'll ask the board to support this because we do have a couple of months of salary. We can take care of what is already budgeted for 2024, and then we'll have to probably sharpen our pencils for the following year after that for the budget to accommodate what we come up with.
So I've been very clear where I stood like 2.5 years ago that I think we as a community, we try to bring people in to get them in here and not pay for what they're really worth. We spend a lot of money, we send them to school, we train them, and then they move on. And I think it's time, and I've had this conversation with Eric, that we need to really look at that, Chaz, and we need to We gotta be competitive. If we're not competitive, we're not gonna bring anybody in here. And if we're gonna just every 6 months or 2 years, we're gonna be looking for building inspectors and all different people, this ain't the way to go.
Mhm.
You know, and I think the retirement insurance is huge, that would be a very big help, and I think we need to move forward that way. We really do.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, oh, I'm sorry, Teresa.
No.
One thing I will say is this is not a Townsend problem specifically. This is an industry problem. I think anybody who's been here for a while knows we had trouble finding a town accountant. We had trouble before that finding a treasurer. We had trouble finding a land use coordinator. We had trouble finding a building commissioner.
Well, we are finding more creative and lucrative ways to take care of the problems. And
So,
to quote what they said in the newspaper, we're boldly moving forward.
yes, there we go.
Boldly.
Boldly going
Like a
where?
spaceship.
And I think we got, now to be frank, I think we have better leadership and better people in positions to try to recruit people to come here.
That's the goal.
And that's huge. You gotta, if you don't have people that you can trust, you ain't gonna go to the job, you know, and I think that's a big fact.
I have a question about something else, that might ask, I don't know.
Sure, so as long as the board's okay with that, I'll bring back the specifics. I would bring back the specifics to.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. You
Okay.
guys are okay with it?
And, you just get an update on the vehicle purchase, the referral stuff that we talked about from the last meeting.
Yes, so, the town has actually, because through the capital plan, it's funded, quite a few vehicles over the last year. And the three that we discussed at the last meeting were the facilities truck for, the facilities department, which might actually be right out in the market, or it might be in the garage now. But we had it, we picked it up
And
last
what
week.
happens with the town vehicle, we're just gonna talk about separately?
Yeah, so that is, I mean, that's an important thing to bring up. My discussions with town council and then with the IG's office, in order to sell a vehicle of that value that's more than $10,000 or trade in a vehicle more than $10,000, you do have to do a sealed bid process. So it is possible to do a trade-in. You have to, but you have to include it from the beginning to everybody. So you have to tell everybody that you're thinking about buying a vehicle from, that you want to trade in this vehicle, and it has to be included in every single transaction that you try to negotiate. So we didn't do that as a part of the town people. We could have started over and started the process again and gone out and gotten quotes for not just buying a truck, but quotes for getting a truck with the trade-in and see who gave us the best deal.
So
But
can we put it out to bid?
we can put it out for a sealed bid.
Put it out for sealed bid, then once them funds come in, whoever the highest is, we do what we thought, we take that money to down pay for that truck.
Yeah, I mean, I think the financial transaction would be a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I mean, we could definitely, figure out a way to
Well,
make
wait a
that.
minute, I wanna know, because if we sell the car, that, in my, correct me, that money would go to general fund.
Yeah, and that's
The
why I said,
truck is out of capital.
yeah, right, so like I said, the financial transaction, that general fund money would end up as free cash, and then we could use the free cash. There could be a free cash article that would pay down a particular loan, if that's the way that we're going to do it. So we could do it, just be a little more roundabout than the straightforward trade-in would have been. But, yeah, but we could definitely, accomplish the goal of getting those funds there, and we just take a couple of extra steps. That's what we're going to do.
Thank you for the update.
Yeah, one of the things we also potentially contemplated was, offering that town vehicle as the vehicle for the building. That's perk.
Excuse me, can I ask who is admitting this?
We're
Meeting.
not taking any feedback from the public. This is a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Yeah, and I was supposed to be elected at 6:05. My name's
Oh.
Tony Lopez.
That was already done.
That was done, Tony.
It was done by 6:07.
I was on the whole time and I couldn't hear. I had interference the whole time. I couldn't hear what happened.
Oh, yes, you were voted onto the board. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. So I will just follow suit at this point. I was just trying to say hi.
Okay, all right.
Welcome aboard.
I don't know, because that car's been sitting so long.
Sure,
I think especially the batteries in that car, I think really, we could get a problem just saying, okay, here's your work, here's our car.
that's
Then
fair.
we start fixing that thing.
The budget, so the building commissioner right now has a $6,000 vehicle stipend that's in the budget, so it's not necessary. But in my mind, I was like, hey, we could save $6,000 if it's a car.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That's real money. I mean, it wouldn't save $6,000, right? Because we have to pay for gas.
Mhm.
But, you know, and $500 for insurance and maintenance, but, you know, that's not $6,000. So it's just something that I was.
Because you know he's gonna ask, or she's gonna ask, that they have the same stuff, so I think we should consider it.
It's not, I think, what I'd like to do is put it on the table and bring it up to the board on the 22nd, after I've had a conversation with this individual and with the union.
I think we need to discuss that a little further, then, because we already made a decision what we were gonna do with that car.
Agree with that.
We did, we made that.
No, we had to wait for what the
Yeah, we
IRG said.
discussed what we were going
Yeah,
to do with
We
it.
did.
So now, that's the discussion we're gonna have, let's have an open discussion.
Well, like I said, I think it probably makes sense to wait until the 22nd. That way I'll know what this individual, if that's it, you know.
But if you're gonna put it on the table, that this is what we're offering. See what I'm saying? If the two of you decide that we can do it, by all means, you do it, but if it comes back and we say, okay, we decide, maybe Teresa and I decide we're not gonna, or Chaz and I decide we're not gonna. And then we've already put it out there, then what do we do? I think we should have that, maybe, if we're gonna do that, then let's make that decision before you offer it to somebody. See what I'm saying? Am I
No,
wrong?
I hear you. I think, I appreciate what you're saying, which is, it's important for the board to kind of figure out whether or not they're comfortable with me offering that to the building inspector.
So should we have a vote on that, whether we're comfortable?
My personal opinion is I'd like to just explore all the options.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it's, you know, I guess we have to give you permission to offer it. That's
Yeah.
what you're asking.
And that's kind of so, you know, Joe's not wrong in that if I offer it and he accepts it, then the board can't then decide to sell it.
That's what I'm getting at.
You know, I do think, you know,
We can offer them a truck.
Well, I don't think we need a vote, but you know where I stand. I agree that we can offer it. So,
and it may be, I have to be honest with you, that if I had, I may have to say, I'll give you a $6,000 travel stipend and not a car. That way you can keep your own vehicle, but you get $6,000 just to make it financial and, you know, just feel better. My guess is that's what it's going to be, but I figure if I get it to accept the car and not the 6,000, then that's like,
Saves us that money.
saves the town some money, and that's what,
That's why we finally got that stipend off,
you know.
right? Saves tax rate.
So I'm open to whatever the board feels. If they feel like it's a bad idea to offer the vehicle, then that's, you know, I'll just offer the $6,000. But if they feel like it might be worth it to try and save the town a bit of money, then
I guess my only concern I would have with the amount of time that car's been sitting. Make sure it's not going to be, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000.
$6,000 will work.
That, you know, see what I'm saying? It's cars like that that sit, you create a problem.
So, having said that, my idea is, can we get that down to the shop and get an estimate on if it needs anything?
We could do that.
And then we can make a decision on
Well,
that.
that would be a start, because I hate to offer it to him, and then all of a sudden, so now he's got it, now we got to put all this money.
Offer somebody a car and it doesn't have a battery in it.
You know, the batteries are $3,000-4,000.
Yeah, it's a certain point in time, it's a certain
And that's a hybrid, so that needs to go on the machine and it needs to be run to make sure that that's recharging the way it's supposed to. And
I can drive down to New Jersey.
Can I ask who would drive that vehicle that was $6,000 a year?
Again, we're not taking any comments from the public on this. But thank you for your question.
I thought I was elected.
No,
To the planning board.
Right. This is a Board of Selectmen meeting.
Right. Okay. Fine. $6,000 is not that much money.
So,
So, I mean, and I agree, Teresa, I think it would be a good thing, but
If the car works and it's an operable condition, I think it's a good idea to offer it.
but
Even if I.
Yes, I do.
don't do it and all of a sudden, oh, now we got $5,000-6,000 for this guy.
I mean, there was work done to the car, a little over a year ago to get it into shape to drive. So, we can definitely.
It's really inexpensive if I were to say anything.
so I think that if you guys are okay with that, let's get it evaluated just to make or assessed, just to see if what the monies are supposed to be for that. If we need any repairs or whatever, because it has been sitting since August of last year.
Well, no, so to be fair,
It's been taken out.
Rob does take it out and drive it, make sure that, that it's not. He doesn't drive it, a long way, but he drives it around just to make sure the battery's charging and that it's still, it's still in optimal condition.
So my one thought is, I just want to put it out there, is that, we'd like to have you working with this candidate now. So if we get this out and we find that it is probably, or we find that it's correct, I still would want to know, how can we make next steps? Like, okay, take it off the table, put it on the table before the next meeting. What's
Yeah,
the
well, I think-
action? How can we do that? Just use that make that a decision?
Or I could say, like, if there's less than $1,000 worth of work that would need to be done to bring it up to par, I think it makes sense to offer it. If it gets to be more than that, I think the board probably should be evaluating. If we're talking about $2,000 or $3,000 to fix the car, we probably shouldn't put it on the table.
So we'll leave it to your best judgment.
So I can, if the board's okay with those parameters, then that's what I'll.
A couple dollars for them to inspect it. For sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think that's a smart thing to do. And if it's a good car, then if that can save us $6,000 in our budget, I'm all good with that,
Yeah, so.
But I don't want to get bit in the butt on that.
Right, okay, you are correct, that is a good point.
Anything else for the town
No, I
administrator?
just wanted, appreciate that update.
Uh,
People were lining up to do this on that. $1 did, of course, they think they're gonna win the pound or
What, on that car?
You know how people are.
Yeah, we'll get those steel bits. We could probably make 12 or 13.
That car should be 12 or
I think we could say 12 or
$12 or $13. We can make 12 or
That
13
car
bucks.
should, if it goes out to bid, should be 12 or 13,000 all day long.
Yeah.
If someone brings in a bid for 5,000 or 6,000, yeah, I would be accepting that.
Yeah.
That's what.
We'd have to set a reserve on it.
All right, 5.2, reports from board liaisons. General government, we had a short week this week,
Yeah.
so.
So I had nothing, I had no meetings or whatever, I did get a call from the conservation division, but we're all aware of how bad they were. They understand that we appoint their members, but they thought the reason was suspect. So, like, well, it doesn't matter, we don't need it. So that's how I responded.
So a conservation commission person called you? Are you the liaison for them?
I used to be, and that's why I let them know I'm no longer the meetings that you should vote for that. So I also let them know finance and conservation, what the, did we have you on contact with that? Okay. So I don't know, maybe not everybody does that, so I'll make sure.
Well, you're in conservation, right?
I've been at several conservation meetings.
Okay.
And
Maybe
nobody's ever confronted me. I've sat in many meetings. And I don't think it's, first of all, I don't think a conservation agent should discuss it, why did what we did. I mean, I
I
thought,
don't think it was the agent.
or a person, a member. My opinion was, I think we made it very clear that night is why we did what we did. And let's reiterate, if there's still any question, obviously there is. If anybody's concerned, as far as my vote was, and I think it was unanimous, that the March 8th meeting, just watch the March 8th meeting of the Conservation Commission, and it will tell you exactly why I voted no, and I think the other members followed on, that it's not open for discussion.
Right, and I made it very clear that there, you do not need a for reason, as selecting the appointing board for. So it didn't matter if the reason was this or that, or who was legal or red or whatever. It doesn't matter, it's, you don't have to do it. So I think that's very clear.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
I didn't have anything after Tuesday, so I was very happy about that. There you go.
I haven't had any meetings. My meeting will be next Monday, because my meetings are on the first Monday of the month. And so next meeting we come in, we'll have a little more conversation.
The quick turnaround of these meetings makes it hard.
Announcements and communications. I don't think I had any, Sabrina, did I?
I,
And 5.4, the next meeting is August 22nd, so we will have a little hiatus here. We can call it a little mini vacation.
I will have to zoom in on that meeting.
Okay.
I won't be in the state, so I will zoom in.
I apologize for having to take you out. So.
Well, you throw monkeys, but that's okay. We'll let you have your.
Oh, I do have an announcement. I apologize.
Okay.
I don't know if the
We're
board
not
members.
making any comments at this time.
I don't know if the board members heard, but I do think that they rescheduled the date for the board of selectmen grilling of the.
Oh, yes, the lawn party. Yes, that's August.
August
17th.
17th. And what day were you gonna start riding that bus?
Well, I'll be riding the beach on August 17th down in South Jersey. So unfortunately, I will not be here.
You're not even gonna go
I will
down.
not even be here for that.
Oh,
So,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very unfortunate. I did not choose it, Joe. It's very unfortunate timing. But the minute I saw the rescheduling, I was like,
Oh.
yeah.
Hey,
I'm not
Oh,
doing
you were
that.
smiling. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
excuse me, yeah.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. And that is all we have on the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we will adjourn at
6:50.
6:50. Thank you, everyone.